Manchester United 2, Tottenham 0. We stay in fourth. We create some clear blue water between us, Chelsea and Liverpool, and we close in on second spot in the Premier League. An interesting game, thanks to Christian Romero, kind of throws it off as a little bit of a from an analytical perspective because of the 10 men versus 11. But Man United, with maybe a few demons, got themselves through it. Another Bruno Fernandes masterclass out there today, sealing the game with a brilliant goal. Should have had an assist at the end, I will add. Šeško really should be burying that a little bit casual. Maybe a little disappointed we didn't score a few more goals today. But you know what? 2-0, a clean sheet, 4 wins in a row. That is not to be scoffed at. That is not to be complained at, in my personal and humble opinion. But I want to get your views. I want to get your opinions. Cannot wait to read your comments below. Make sure you're liking, subscribing, and have that bell notification button turned on as well today. From my point of view, look, blown away and over the moon. We are talking Tottenham as well, because I think it was an horrendous day for them. I think it was an horrendous day for them on so many levels. I mean that. And I'm not trying to be sort of hyperbolic. I'm not trying to be over the top. I'm just trying to be brutally honest. A handful of points away from the relegation zone. That is problematic indeed. And quite a few teams down there are, starting to pick up a result here and a result there. Romero now missing for the next 4 games. I think it was Utd comes off injured as well in that game. So some real problems. Their new signing, Conor Gallagher, really not shining today, not even when it was 11v11. Absolutely overshadowed by the Mainoos and the Casemiros, who some Man United fans wanted Gallagher in for only 6 short weeks ago. Some comments here. Tony says, happy with for the 3 points. Absolutely happy with it. And look, I predicted we would score 3. I predicted 3-1, 2-goal margin. That element was true. Look, I'm going to give Spurs credit today that they defended a lot better than I thought they would. But a lot of that was because they went down to 10 men. You could see the momentum building towards us scoring. You could see the frustration creeping into Tottenham. That's why Romero did what he did. And then it becomes a very different game of football. As soon as they go down to 10 men, they barely attacked. They made it very difficult for us. They limited all of the space. So we had to get creative. And it was a brilliant corner from Manchester United, let me just say. It was so well worked. And one of the reasons, and a lot of Man United fans have let themselves down. A lot of Man United fans are going to be looking a bit silly. A lot of Man United fans are going to look a bit stupid, if we're being absolutely honest, because they've cried about other teams in the Premier League scoring set pieces. They're not real goals. It's ugly football. And we're brilliant at them. We are brilliant at them, and I want to praise them, especially today's. Mainoo with a bit of a disguised run, takes it short, knocks it onto the edge of the box. And it wasn't wellied. It wasn't smashed. It wasn't heavily struck by Mbeumo. It was delightfully placed into the bottom corner. 1-0 United. And that set-piece goal for me was absolutely fantastic. And then Bruno Fernandes, I thought another great performance from him in his best position, the best in the world in the number 10 role. There's just no doubts about that in my mind whatsoever. The man was just everywhere today. Absolutely everywhere. Creating 6 chances in the game, scoring in this match. Some good defensive contributions as well. But maybe high pass percentage, but I don't care about that being high. I care about a man who's breaking lines, always looking to get us in, never gets deterred. And if he makes a bad pass, the next time it's better. Should have had an assist today as well, by the way. Like that Šeško's gonna kick himself a little bit tomorrow when it comes to that element of the game. The second goal, Bruno's goal, was just fantastic. And I heard Ali McCoy talking about it on the commentary, and he was so correct and he was so right. And it was nice to hear some honest punditry about Man United for once. Yes, it kind of comes off his shin, but everything else about it was just brilliant. And it's just get your leg on it and guide it in that direction. Send like the direction the goalkeeper's coming from. And we needed the goal at that point because there were some nerves creeping in, because Man United are not fixed yet. Man United are not back yet. Man United are not the completed article that we want to be. And you feel those nerves coming in. That was Spurs' plan when they went down to 10 men. They stay in the game. Let's make it difficult. And in the last 10 minutes, we'll bring on some attackers and we'll score some goals. And there was a beautiful sort of, I don't have the word for it is irony, but there was just that beautiful moment when they made their substitutions and a minute later we scored the goal. So yeah, look, overall, very, very happy with the display. Stayed resolute, got through those nervy moments, 4 wins on the bounce. I couldn't be happier. I couldn't be happier with Manchester United right now. There's no doubt. Was Romero making a statement with his lack of discipline after the controversy? What a bad captain. Do you want to know? I want to say this about Romero because he's been defended for many, many years, and I'm not gonna allow him to be defended. I'm gonna be blunt with you. I'm not allowing him to be defended. And I'm calling that Patrick. Chatty Patty, good friend of mine, love him to bits. But I remember a few years ago on the Football Terrace, him kind of getting a bit shirty with people for suggesting that there's a discipline issue with Romero. There's an aggression issue with Romero. And today we saw it. Since he's been in the Premier League, no players had more red cards than he's 6. What he did today was try and hurt Casemiro in a moment of frustration because Spurs were beginning to become annoyed within the game itself. But he let his club down, he let his manager down, he let his teammates down. More importantly, he let the fans down. You cannot be mouthing off, rabbiting, talking all what you're talking, and then do that. Because you're no different. You're no different when you do it. It was a thug's challenge. It was vile. Now, I do know that there's going to be some salty City fans go, Terry, but what about Delo on Dorgu 4 weeks ago? Well, I've said I feel they should all be red cards. But the PGMOL sees a distinction, which is one, today, if you look at Romero's, there was follow through and force that could break a leg. The other, it touched and then came back off again, which does far less damage, if we're being honest. And if Romero did exactly the same thing, but as the contact hit Casemiro's leg came straight off, I would also say, based on the PGMOL needing to be consistent, no red card. So people can try that game if they want, but they're just going to end up looking silly. How about Shaw's foul? That's denying an open goal. Goalie's 18 yards out, and the foul stops the shot on goal. I mean, yes, a foul, and it was given. It's not a denial of a clear goal-scoring opportunity because it's covering defenders. And still, I guarantee if you look, even with the goalkeeper where he was, I bet you're looking at a percentage chance of about less than 3% of shots from there go in. So it was covering defenders. It's not a denial of a clear goal-scoring opportunity. And equally, that's Luke Shaw's not even looking behind him. He's looking straight at the player. Maybe if he pulls him down, you can make the argument. But I think, Josh, if you think that's a red card, I think you're barking up the wrong tree there, my friend. To be fair, we were robbed. Oliver was showing them pity. Well, look, we should have had a penalty. Maguire should have had a penalty for what Van der Ven did to him. And right at the end, Mads was completely dragged back and fouled. I can't believe a penalty wasn't given. But as you say, I think a little bit of pity was being taken. We're going to erase that Šeško chance. Overall, good game. Defense and goalkeeper really wasn't tested. The attacking areas we got into were excellent. Just couldn't finish. Crazy part is should have had 2 pens. Yeah, I agree. Listen, the Šeško moment was frustrating because obviously we had an opportunity right there to, get that extra goal, and I would have loved to have seen it. But I'm not defending Šeško. I was thinking this earlier in the game too, when Bruno was doing the Rabonas and Cass was trying to nutmeg Palhinha at 1-0. I think there were some times in the game today where we got a little casual. And as much as it's fun and the crowd will love it with the Olays, I sort of feel we're not, even after 4 wins in a row, we shouldn't be doing that yet because it leads to the concentration levels going. And I feel like that, had we kept the intensity up, I'm not sure if he misses that header. It's not defending him individually. He should do better. He should take a touch, really, and lever it. And he doesn't. He panics a little bit, and he needs work on that. But overall, we were very good. Why didn't we get more in? We didn't get more big chances in the game. It's very hard to break down 10 men behind the ball. Very hard today. And Spurs had every right to do it, being down to 10 men. That's why we resorted to a lot of long-range efforts. But even then, I mean, there was 3 or 4 really good efforts from outside or just inside the box that we were so unlucky not to score today. We were so close to 3, 4, 5 absolute screamers in that game. Annie here says the joy I feel, Teza, we keep going. I love it, man. I'm feeling great joy as well. I wanted to slap Spurs today, but Romero took that opportunity away from us. And I mean that in the sense that it is often, and it's a cliche because it's true, playing against 10 men can be really hard when they do what Tottenham did. If Tottenham would have maintained, because Tottenham had their periods in the first half where they opened and attacked us, and it was looking like a nice game. They did what I said they would do in the first half at Old Trafford compared to the Etihad. They're against City last week. They'd run harder and press harder, and they did. But I felt the game was going how I felt it was going. I felt if we'd have, it's a weird one. I feel if they would have had 11 men and we scored, I feel they would have capitulated quicker. I feel that when they went down to 10 men, that almost gave the players an extra oomph to go for it a little bit more, and it kind of kept them together mentally a little bit longer. But at the end of the day, listen, if someone said to me now, look, you can play the game again, you might win 4-0 and smash them, but there's no guarantees of a win. I'm sticking with what I've got. A win was the most important thing. 4 wins on the bounce. And we go to West Ham away. Tough place for United in recent years. There's a chance to get 5 wins on the bounce. There's a chance to close the gap further on second place, potentially. And United Strand can cut his hair. Spurs got quality players, need a better coach. They've got some good players in their Spurs. Listen, I still think the squad's a lot better where they sit in the league, but I don't even think their approach was overly wrong today. They hard to break down. They pressed us at times. They had some good attacking moments. Romero today. Listen, people can have an overarching discussion about Spurs today on this highlight show. Romero's the reason their plan fell apart. I don't think Thomas Frank did too much wrong with what he's got available in that team personally. Consistency over chaos. Glory, Man United. It's just nice, isn't it, to win some games. I want to say as well, before I bring out the callers, we've got KJ, we've got Kate, we've got Deezy coming on the show. So I want to shout out 2 players today. Bruno has had his flowers, 200th goal involvement, man of the match, loved it. Mainoo again today, I thought was brilliant. Casemiro, I tweeted at half-time about how there's so many Man United fans I see jumping on. I've seen him on their podcast, bigging him up. And I'm like, where's your apology, you cretins, for the nasty things you said about him? Lemaine's excellent again, barring that one kick. Right, we'll allow that. We'll let him off for that. But the 2 players I want to speak on right now before our callers is Brian Mbeumo and Cunha. And the reason I want to speak about the 2 of them is in the last 13 years, you can count on one hand. You could be a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle and have 3 fingers and count on that one hand still how many genuine good signings we've had. Bruno Fernandes is one of them. We might put Cass into that now, and you're probably looking at Zlatan. And if I'm being honest, I quite like Lisandro Martinez, but there's some debates on that. But you'll be honest with you, you're talking 3, 4, 5 maybe in 13 years. Cunha and Mbeumo are Manchester United players. We can overanalyze from time to time, go, oh, Cunha was bad here. That touch wasn't great. I'm not saying they're perfect players. But do you know one thing they can handle better than 99% of all of our signings in the last 13 years? The badge on the shirt doesn't weigh them down. They have a confidence. If something doesn't go right, they try it again. I love watching them play. And Mbeumo's goal today, yes, brilliant. Goal number 9 in the Premier League for him this season. Cunha, not with any output today, but just such great moments on the ball with the way he holds it up and he brings others into play. I love these 2. And I don't feel we saw the best of them in the first 14, 15, 16, 17 games of the season playing under Ruben Amorim. We're now seeing the very best of these signings, why they were brought to the football club. And I just hope that our midfield signings in the summer bring us equally as much quality, because they're just great. And above their touch and their goals and the brilliant influence they have in the game, it's the fact that you can see they're embracing it. They're not weighed down by that shirt. And I love that. I loved every single second of their performances today. Brian here says, I wasn't overly pleased with the first half, but a good win, 4 in a row. Bruno covered every blade of grass today. The hair derby is big on Tuesday. Much love for the terrace. Do you know what, Brian? I hear where you're coming from with the first half. I feel the first half was a weird game of football. We started well. Tottenham had a 5, 6, 7 minute period where they didn't really create. They had the ball to Gallagher. There was a cross across the 6-yard box. Then we started picking up the pace again. It was a lot of shots from distance, edge of the box. We couldn't quite get in for those big chances. The issue I have is at 30 minutes in, Romero gets sent off. And the problem is with 10v11, it's very hard to assess the game. My first thought was, I can't crush it on Conor Gallagher later now. Because although Cobby and Casemiro, just everything, more ground duels won, better pass completion, everything. It's hard to do a judgment when it's 10v11 because the complexity of the game changes altogether. So I'm gonna let Conor Gallagher off for the day. I'm not gonna rip into him. But I do get what you mean. I'd have liked another goal. But you know what? It's our first win in 9 matches against them. They've been a side that have been a bit of a bogey team for the last few years. And with hindsight, having got over the line, more than happy with it. Go on and beat West Ham, make it 5 in a row, and who knows what happens from there this season. Could we ask what your thoughts are on the Michael Carrick, what Michael Carrick has done with this team? Yeah, of course you can ask my thoughts. He has gone back into a shape that gets the best out of the players. But the shape is only a part of it, and everybody will over-egg the shape. Oh, the 4 at the back. But it's because we're doing the simple things. We're doing the simple things better. Our fullbacks press the wide attackers of our opponents faster in the game. We're far more compact out of possession in the middle. And when we attack, we're a little closer together. So if we lose the ball, it isn't as easy to pass through us. There are going to be times where you can pass through our lines. That's always going to happen to teams that are offensive and teams that attack. But more importantly, and it is so basic, but it doesn't get discussed on the mainstream media because they're always looking for some sort of exquisite answer. But the real response is Bruno's back in his position where he's the best in the world, the number 10. Mainoo is back in the team where he should have been for the last 12 months, playing next to Casemiro, but we're not isolating either of them. We've got wing-backs playing in wing-back roles. And then what we have is an attacking group of players who are comfortable on the ball, got a good amount of pace, and have a license to be free. And there is some, whether it's the players we've signed or whether it's the ethos at United, when there is a freeness to the way we attack, a little bit of, it isn't so rigid that you can't move out of a certain couple of squares because that's how they do their tactics. And I can't move here, I can't drop deep. There is just this fluidity about it, which makes it hard to contain at times. And Michael Carrick has given them license to attack and hurt their opponents within that framework. And for me, when you put it all together, we just seem a more balanced team. It's harder to pass through us, and that's leading to us creating more chances in games. That, for me, is the basics of it. I don't think it's groundbreaking. We haven't reinvented the wheel, but it's what was missing. And I think often in football, we overcomplicate this sport by talking about it like we're building a flying car. When it isn't that difficult. It's difficult to execute, right? It's difficult to be at that level. But in terms, like, if I could take you back to my gym and show you some stuff I used to do and explain to you in a really basic way how to do certain martial arts techniques. But when you try to do it, you might fall over and break your leg. It's not that hard. All you've got to do is chamber the leg up to your chest. And as you're extending your leg out, you twist your hips inwards and then you come back in again. It's very simple. It's basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 motions in the space of a few seconds. But learning how to do it properly is very, very, very hard. It's basic, but a lot of things that are basic are can be difficult to execute if you're not taught to do it properly. When you start complicating it and adding weird words in, just fucking stupid. Absolutely stupid. I'm going to calls now, people. We're going to bring some calls on. Obviously, there's lots of games this afternoon that I know a lot of you are going to want to jump into and watch. I've got a big eye on that Wolves-Chelsea game. Come on, Wolverhampton Wanderers. Do us a favour this afternoon. First on with me, I'm going to go to KJ is jumping on with me just now. I'll make sure I've got everything right. KJ's here. Big win, bro. Good trim as well. I like it. Nice haircut. Big win for Man United today. Talk to me.
Let's flipping go, baby. Listen. I had to get the trim mid-game. I ain't gonna explain why. But man was driving with the game on, at the barber's getting the fresh trim with the game on. And Man United made it worse. It's my birthday tomorrow. And them man, gave me an early birthday present today with 4 wins in a row. Carrick, you've changed my life, man. You've changed our lives. It's absolutely beautiful. Today was a great game. I want to shout out the midfield because their midfield is strong. They've got runners, they've got pace, they've got power. They're workhorses. And normally, against workhorses, we struggle. We struggle. But that was on the Ruben Amorim when you had we have a double pivot of Casemiro and Bruno. Now we have a midfield three with Mainoo in there, with Bruno next to Casemiro, next to Mainoo. You have players on the wings like Mbeumo and Ahmad working hard. We came up against them, and today, Terry, we played football. We played football. There's times in that half where normally I'd be panicking about how do we get out of this. We're going to get pressed and we're going to concede a chance. But we played around them like it was nothing. 1-2s, back heels, bits of flair, flicks and tricks, while also doing it. And it looks like simple things like the rondos coming back has given these guys confidence to be like, wait, hold on. We know how to do this. We've been doing this in training. So it's a rondo. We're just doing a rondo. And these simple things that Carrick is doing is helping us today. And the midfield today was brilliant. I know that we can say it's 10 men. We got a red card, which was a red card all day long. But we still have to go and win the game. We still have to go break down this stubborn Spurs team. And we did that. And we created chances and we created opportunities to score more than 2 goals. And that's what I'm happy about. There was big questions of this Man United team that I was asking. First, it was against the 2 biggest, best teams in the league. We beat them. Then it was against an informed team in the league, mid-table, close to us. If they had won, they would have been like 2 points off us or 1 point off us if they had won that game. Tricky opposition. We won that. Today, can we beat a bogey team? Can we beat a team we haven't beaten in almost 4 years? Remain calm, keep our composure, and actually get the win. And we do that. And we did that. And everyone who's been waiting for Carrick to trip up, everyone who's been waiting to say, I told you so, hold that, man. Hold that. Yeah? Because I know there's people in the wings waiting for the downfall. And I'm not talking about rivals. They would always do that anyway. I don't care about them. I'm talking about Man United fans. There are Man United fans out there waiting for the downfall of Carrick. And I'm so glad that he's doing this well. I ain't going to talk about the permanent thing, because I just say sign the thing right now. Sign it now. But no, on a realness, like, we as a team, we've needed this. Simplicity, confidence, clinical. That's what we've been needing. And Carrick has found a way to bring that out. And today, everyone was top notch. Dalot's been performing better as well. You know, Luke Shaw's been performing. I got enough praise for Casemiro, Kobe, and Bruno today. Ahmad, Ahmad Diallo, he's getting overlooked because he's lacking GA. If he just needs to add more GA to his game, and we're chatting some serious conversations, because that kid has been brilliant for us, and he's been unsung. He's been tracking back. He's been taking on defenders. He's been creating chances and taking shots. What more do you want from your right winger? We need to see our team. I need to start believing in it. The fan base need to start believing in it. Forget what happened before. Let's get behind this moment now and use that wave to take us, hopefully, to the Champions League. But overall, I'm just happy, you know what I mean? And there's so much more analysis that we can do. But right now, my head's on Mars. Carrick, sign the thing, bro. Sign the thing.
No, listen, I love it, mate. And that's what it's all about. We're winning games 4 in 4. First time we've done it in 2 years. I don't know the last time we won 5 in a row. You're probably looking 3 or 4 years ago. So let's do that against the West Ham side. KJ, I'll let you shoot, mate, because I know you're busy. But happy birthday tomorrow, because it's probably the last time you'll be on camera between now and then. So everyone wish you, KJ, a big happy birthday for tomorrow.
Yeah, big 30, man. Big 30. So, yeah, thank you as well. You've been a part of that. For 5 years of my life, Terry, you've been a part of that. So I appreciate it. Or maybe 6. One of the two. I don't know. It will be 6. One of the two. But yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Enjoy your night, whatever you're getting up to. Have fun, and I'll speak to you soon, brother. Cheers, mate. Take care, mate. Kate is coming on with us next. Obviously, Kate supports Spurs. Commiserations on the defeat today. I do want to start, though, with you with the red card. What is your captain? What is he doing?
Terry, I don't know how many times I've sat on this show and said that he's a bozo and he lets us down. And do you know what? I'm running out of words to describe him, really. He comes out midweek again on social media, gobbing off that the team is sort of not, the manager's not been backed, we haven't got enough players. And then he gets himself banned for four matches. It's just, for me, you do your talking on the pitch. You don't do it on social media. I'd strip him of his captaincy. I said it last time he got sent off, and I'd still do it. He's got to get out of this club. He's such a liability. I mean, no one will ever know if he'd have stayed on, if we'd have got sank out that game. But I believe we would have got something. But it's a pointless argument to have because we'll never ever know. But he took what was already a difficult task and made it a nigh on impossible one by getting sent off. And as a captain, you just can't have it. And, you know, I look at Van der Ven, I think he deserves better than us because he's better. He's such a good player, and he certainly deserves a better partner than Christian Romero. He'd let down everyone today, including Thomas Frank, who's already bang under the cosh. So, yeah, I'm disgusted with him. I've just got no interest in him anymore. I just want him gone. Because that was a nasty challenge. You know, I've listened to commentators like Stuart Pearce said there's no way that was a red card. And yet, and then I've listened to other commentators who said it was a red card, but there was no intent. And other ones that have said that it was like there was intent to hurt him. I kind of think he did mean to hurt him because the way his studs were positioned. But whatever way, for me, it's no argument it was a red card. And yeah, like I say, I don't even know what to say about him anymore. We're in a really precarious position in the league. We're down to the bare bones. You know, I mean, KJ does make me laugh. He said our midfield's good. We're without Madders, Kulu, Kudus, Bergvall, Bentancur in the midfield. But our midfield's good. Okay. But we're down to the bare bones as it is. And then he's got himself, he's going to miss the Arsenal game. He's going to miss the page. You know,
and where you guys have got to be so careful, Kate, is I don't think you will get relegated. But, I mean, you're in those spaces now where you got you need West Ham to lose this weekend. If they were to win and they were to beat Man United, you'd suddenly only be 3 points off the drop, give or take 3 points off the relegation zone. And I feel that if you get within 2, 3, 4 points of it, then anything can happen. When there's a 9-point gap, it feels pretty safe. But this is one of those weeks where you get 2 games very quickly and the world can change. You know, if West Ham and a few other teams are down there win this weekend and you guys lose your game, it's just, I'm looking at it and I am thinking to myself, like, it's a precarious position that you're in, genuinely.
Very, and we've got fans that say we're too good to go down, we're too big to go down. I think, yeah, you don't know the history of the Premier League. We've heard that so many times. I remember West Ham, they're saying they're too good to go down or they're too big. You are where you are, and you've got, you know, we're on the same points as Leeds now. We're really in a really bad position, and yeah, as I do feel sorry for Thomas Frank as well. I've got to put it out there because he has got, like I say, so many injuries. However, I don't know how long you persevere with this guy, because I was calling for some changes towards the end to try and go and get a goal. The minute he made those changes and took off some of our better players, you saw we just looked like we couldn't really defend.
Yeah, it was one of those. I mean, I wouldn't. 2-0 isn't a flattering scoreline for Tottenham, because what you did do, especially when it went 10v11, you made it very hard for us to create clear-cut chances. There was a lot of long-range efforts that were being well saved. But as soon as you made the subs and brought on the attackers, we scored within a minute. Yeah. And then we probably should have scored 2 or 3. We could have scored 2 or 3 more after that, and the scoreline would have been crazy. So Frank did the right thing when he went down to 10 men, because he knew if he opened up, it would be absolute obliteration. But so I don't think his approach was actually wrong when he went down to 10 men. That's the annoying bit. You don't know what you don't know. And Romero sort of, essentially cost you that game, because I mean, anything could have happened. If you'd have stopped us from getting clear-cut chances, but been 11v11, who knows what your second half would have looked like. And I want to be fair with Tottenham there. And as you've said, 4 games he now misses when you're already down to your bare bones. You know, Mickey van der Ven's got some issues where he's just returned from. Doggy goes off injured. It's just horrendous considering he's moaned all week about a lack of bodies to go and do that. And you are right. It was listen, Stuart Pearce, I respect the man, but it's a stonewall red card. Everyone can see he left one on him and he catches his shin. And thankfully, Casemiro's leg wasn't planted on the ground because that's something that can break a leg. And you sort of saw, because him and Lissandro are really good friends. I saw Lissandro walk over to him and sort of barge into him. He's basically just saying, like, he didn't kick off, but you could see by the look on their face where he's like, shit, I know what I've done. It was one of those. He wasn't appealing it and saying, no, ref. He knows what he's done. But, Kate, look, thank you for coming, and I appreciate it. Commiserations on the defeat. It's only the first time in 9, though, first time since I've known you that we've beaten you. So I'm quite happy about that. It's been a long time, Kate. It's been a long time. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. You and Jimbo. Speak soon.
Congrats on the win.
Right. Cheers. Thanks, Kate. Speak to you soon. Take care. Next on the show, Canadian Cam. Yes, brother. 4 wins from 4.
Man, it's nice watching the game and not feeling any. Like, I didn't feel stress at all. I won't lie to you. Other than that Gallagher opportunity, I was like, this is nice. I'm like, we're going to win this game handily. And I think we did. I mean, there's like a few times where it kind of jumbled in the. Hi, Kaya. Sorry. She wants to get on camera quicker.
Hello.
Say hi. Okay. Yeah, dude, like, I think, like KJ said, with the simplicity thing, it's like you knew what we were going to do and they couldn't stop us. Like, it was going out to the wings, cross in, cut back, and it was just like we just had that cutting edge about us all game. I agree with him on Ahmad. I don't think he's being overlooked. I think if you're a United fan and you're watching him play, you have to be really happy with what you're seeing. He just terrorizes on that, right? Like, he's a terror. When he picks up the ball and dribbles at people, you always feel like something could happen. So that to me is just as important as the GA. Like, not everybody's going to bang in goals, but half of the front line. And when you talk about like United players, Cunha and Mbeumo, people were talking about summer signings. Everyone's like talking about Ekitike and all these guys. Like, at the end of the day, I think if we keep going like this, we're going to look at Mbeumo and Cunha as, like, for me, the summer signings of the year. Like, I'm just like, they transformed our attack. Like, our attack. Like, we should have scored, in my opinion, 4 goals. Like, the Cunha shot, to take that on, first off, just to take it on, we haven't had players who have that in them to shape a ball like that with that kind of power outside of the box, always being a constant threat, other than Bruno. And now you're starting to get the appreciation from everybody, seeing the risk taking. No one's talking. You see something, Terry, when you win, ain't nobody talking about how much Bruno loses the ball. He's not losing the ball any less than he did before. He's doing the same shit. Rabonas, behind the back, he's doing all the same shit. But no one's talking about it because we're winning games. At the end of the day, Bruno didn't need to change. It was the shape around him. It's the players around him. Bruno doing what Bruno does is what makes a team tick. He's the best, for me, Cam, in the world. And I'm sad that we may not see him win one. I'm hoping he's around long enough to it, but it's him and Cass at the end of the day are 2 players where, like I was talking about in the group, it's going to be sad to see him go and not win a Prem, because the way he's playing right now shows that he's still got it. He's obviously going to fall off. Like, listen, I think he even came out and said the Prem's attack. Like, for him, it's like it's heavy on the body. He's come out and said, like, this is a very hard league to play in. But it is sad that we didn't get to see this version of him with a proper midfield because Amarim decided Mainoo wasn't good enough. And the bright spot for us is at least our kid, our academy player, we're keeping that going. At least Mainoo's going to be here for, in my opinion, for a long time, the way he's playing. And I got to say, like, everyone's saying, oh, we don't want to talk about permanent. Here's the deal. We need 8 more wins. 8 wins, and we're pretty much locked for UCL. 69 points gets you into the UCL over the last, like, 3 or 4 years, like top 5. And as the English coefficient goes, that's going to be enough. If Carriage gets us to 8 wins with like 3-4 games left, per se, like, I get it. You want to do best in class. But if Luis Enrique's already come out and said, I'm staying at Paris or I don't want to go to United, the best in class for me are guys at the World Cup who we really don't know what they're going to do. And we're just hitting a point here where everyone's going to say, oh, committing the same mistakes, not learning. Yeah, do your interviews, do all that. But Claire taking this job and doing what he's doing now is the interview for me. Like, we've all said it. It's the performances and the winning. And we haven't had a performance that we haven't been proud of since he's been our manager. And this dates back to when he took it the first time. Like, if we're going to be honest, like, when he took it the first time, the performances back then were also good. So it's like, I'm getting to that point. You give me 5 more wins, Carrick, and I'm happy to interview other people, but he should be the favorite if he has a plan like this.
And that's a fair view to have. I think what you said a bit ago about like the Cunha and the Mbeumo, I couldn't agree with you more. I think they look like Man United players on every single level, and they're really finding their feet. The goals and the assists in the last 5, 6, 7 games since we've become more of an expansive team, you've seen that shine through. And on Bruno, I've seen a lot of people. I think it might have been David who used to come on the shows, wrote a comment the other day saying that Bruno playing deeper for a year has made him better because he doesn't lose the ball as much. And then when I looked, he's still averaging losing possession 19 to 22 times a game. Like in that period,
I need to look at the stats.
Yeah, watch it. But I've never minded Bruno losing the ball in those areas because that's his job. This is what I always find so funny about football fans. You have someone like an Odegaard who is consistently ripped into because he doesn't try to break the lines enough. He doesn't try to create the chances, but yet he's got 97% pass accuracy. And then you get a Bruno that does it, and everyone slags him off for losing possession. It's very, very strange. But yeah, he was great today. I'm glad he got around the match as well.
Yeah, man, winning cures everything. And like, you know what, Sesko is going to rule that. Like, if we needed Sesko to score that goal, to go 2-0, he scores the goal. And there's no doubt in my mind. He was just like, game's done. It's the last. It kind of reminded me of like when basketball players, when the game's over and like you have the last shot and you have and you just dribble it out. That was kind of the vibe I got from Sesko there, where he was like, this is literally the last shot of the game. And I don't like that. He should have taken that goal, and he should have given, for me, the reason he really should have scored the goal is he should be aware that Bruno needs 6 more assists to break a record. Right?
Well, Bruno got very annoyed because he was like, bro, that would have been another assist. Yeah. No, I agree, man.
Kate's talking about Mickey Van de Ven being too good for the team. I agree. And I think that's a player we should be targeting. In my opinion, we should be targeting. We should be, you know what? We went after the Brentford players, the Wolves players. Now let's go get some of the big team players. Because for me, Van de Ven would be a great signing to replace Maguire. The way we want to play with a bit of a attacking impetus, a little bit of a higher line, get somebody who has a bit more of that speed, who can actually, you know, track back heavy when you lose possession, because Maguire, we know, can't do that. And
yeah,
I think we're not going to keep him. So yeah, go get him. Anyway, man, I'm gonna go take care of Kaya. But
yeah, man, you do your thing, brother. We'll catch up soon.
It's so nice.
Cheers, man. Cheers, bro. Speak soon, my man. Cheers. Speak soon. Cheers, brother. Thank you. That's Canadian Cam. Runin here says, damn, I even got the score right. Red hot, man. If you don't give Carrick the job, some other team is going to get blessed. Happy 30th, KJ. Do you know what I feel about this? There's this element of, there's some United fans doing the devil's work at the moment, excuse the pun, where it's like, no matter what he does, he shouldn't get the job. I just don't think anything should be that black and white for me, because those same people remind me of the individuals that were writing letters to Ineos saying, please keep Ten Hag because he won us the FA Cup. The ones that are now saying, don't give him the job no matter what, because history might repeat itself. And I'm like, well, the last time they listened to you on a manager, like really listened to you, we wasted 2 years. So that's sometimes when it comes to, if I'm on the fence on something or I'm deliberating, I look at who's asking for it and their track record. Does that make sense? So within my own fan base, I look at the people. It's like, so if, for instance, everyone any YouTuber who's never really rated Bruno, when it comes to a player that we're all deliberating over, if they really like him, I'll just go. If I'm on the fence, I go, I'm going to side with these not so good guys. I can't help but do that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like anyone who used to tell me that, oh, Sunderland nearly scored. Oh, I'm so close. If anyone ever, the people used to say, oh, Wilfried Zaha is a world-class winger. Anyone who used to say that, I kind of disregard that. When I'm on the fence on a player, I'll disregard it if whatever side they're on, I'm on the opposite. Do you know what I mean? Deezy is on with us next on the show today. Welcome back, bro. Good to see you.
It's Carrick. You know, hard to believe it's not Scholes. Bro, I am gassed. This is a great moment to be a United fan. You know what? Funny little story before I get into the actual thing. So my little brother is about 13 years younger than me, right? And when he was born, naturally, as the head of the household, you dictate who your siblings support, right? So he's a United fan, and he don't know nothing about United being good, because the last time we won the league, I think he was 3. right? So the game finishes today, and he texts me, bro. I feel like I'm dreaming, bro. I don't know what I'm looking at, and it's just these moments that remind you that, bro, United are somebody, bro. Lowering the standards and accepting that we must suffer and all that stuff gets us so far away from who we are. But going on to today, man, there's so many good things that we could talk about. And personally, I want to highlight Kobbie Mainoo. I think, and maybe I was watching him with a sort of biased standpoint because I've been arguing with people for so long that he can actually play football. That like today, for example, I was watching him, like, he's slowing down the play when he needs to. He's speeding things up when he needs to. He's picking the killer pass. Like, he's making all the right decisions. And next to Bruno, next to Casemiro, they're doing all the stuff that he can't do. So we don't have to have the conversation about, oh, he's deficient in this, or oh, he's not fast on the sprint, or oh, he's not great at tracking back, because there's people around him doing all those things.
Yeah,
bro. Yeah, no, and it also quite as kept. Dallow's been on a decent run, you know. I slander him, but Dallow's been decent since Carrick's been here, and I was one that was like, Dallow's got to go. But you put him back in his natural position, he looks more comfortable on the ball. He's taking players on at the right times, and he's making passes at the right times. And I'm not gonna lie to you, bro, it's all looking real good, real good. I'm not gonna lie.
The coaches as well. I know that. Listen, it's 4 games. I'm not getting carried away and talking about winning league titles or anything stupid like that. But the Steve Hollands and Johnny Evans and Woodgate, let's be fair, there was an absolute meltdown when they came in, as it was suggested they were absolute bums, should be nowhere near Man United. And in the 4 games they've coached so far, we have looked as good at any point we have done in the last 13 years. We're not back. We're not one of the best in the world or any claim like that, because we've fallen so far off. But those improvements have been there. And I was saying earlier in the show, Deezy, we've got players in their natural positions. That's always a really good place to start. You know, if you think about it as a restaurant, you know, you put the waiters and the waiters waiting tables. Yeah. You have the meat chef cooking the meat. You have the dessert. I don't know what they call somebody who makes desserts. So maybe there's a special name for it. But the person who makes desserts making desserts. The guy that does the washing up doing the washing up. If you suddenly mix it up one day and go, listen, dessert guy, you're on the washing up. The host is going to be the waitress is going to be the chef, and the chef's going to host. I guarantee you that restaurant goes backwards a little bit. I bet there's a few problems there. Do you know what I mean? Few fingers are going to get chopped off. People are going to get burnt. The wrong food's coming out. And that for me is the biggest thing they've done. And I agree with you on Kobbie Mainoo. Maybe, and we all get things right and wrong, I think one of the most embarrassing elements for us as a collective, just as Man United fans, is the volume of our supporters who got gaslit into believing that Mainoo almost had no business being in the Man United team.
But you know what, though? Here's how it goes, bro. Propaganda's a real thing. You know what I mean? My mom voted for Brexit. Look at me. You're not really the people to be going for. So you know what I mean. Propaganda can happen, bro. These things happen. You go down the vision of, no, this guy knows what he's talking about. He's right. He's gonna take us to the promised land. And then at some point, but here's the thing: I don't mind getting sucked in by propaganda, right? At some point, you have to look up and be like, bro, where are we going? Where is this taking us? And that for me is the part for me as a fan. I'm like, you know what? If you can look up and be like, we're going the wrong way, let's U-turn. All right, fairs. Because even if you look at the front line, right? Yeah, we were scoring goals and stuff like that, but I wouldn't say we looked liquid. We didn't look fluid. We didn't look like we did today or the game before, where like if we go down a goal, we're in our heads, we're like, nah, we'll score again at some point. Like there's no real worry that United's completely out the game. Right. But then if you think about early in the season, was it Brentford we lost 3-0 to? The minute they scored the first one, in my head, I was like, oh, it's pretty much clear.
Done. Yeah.
This game's pretty much over. And then even like the Everton game when we lost 1-0 to 10 men, to me, I was looking at, they scored and I was like, it's pretty much over. You could tell by the way that they're playing, the way that they're moving, that we're just not up for it. Whereas today, I think it was about 10 minutes in, you saw the little passes that they were doing around the right-hand side. Where I was like, oh, these guys came to play today. We should be all right. We should at least compete. We don't have to win every game, and I don't think that should be Carrick's remit. And I think any United fan that's looking for a City-level dominance as far as games go, I think your head is probably in the wrong place. But I think we should at least know that coming into every game, we're here to compete. Maybe not dominate, just compete. And I think for me personally, if Carrick can deliver that, I'm open to whatever he's got going on because the coaching staff are doing what they're doing. You saw the set piece goal. You know what I'm saying? That was beauty, a thing of beauty.
Yep.
That was.
No, I agree.
So realistically, was there to be mad at?
Other than your mum voting Brexit, nothing, bruv. Like, everything's all good. No, listen, I agree. And look, it's not perfect yet, and we still want the squad to be improved on. But I think, as many of us agreed on as a general consensus, we know we need better players overall. But equally, we all knew that winning one game in 3, and on average, winning one Premier League game a month for 14 months. was well below the quality of the squad, and it became this really polarized debate around the squad's it's the squad. Well, partly he ain't the manager. It is partly some people just the manager. No, because we are going to lose some games at some point, and you're going to see it and go, if the goalie was a bit better there, or if this defender didn't get caught out, because there'll be those elements. But that being said, we have played the 2 best teams so far in the league this season. Played a good Fulham team who have been a problem for us for years, and Spurs we ain't beaten in 9. It ain't going to be ironic that we're going to play West Ham next, who are the easiest of the 5, and I bet we lose. Lose 3-0 and get slapped. Deezy, mate, always a pleasure to sit and speak football with you, brother, and we'll chat again soon. Top man.
Yes, sir.
Cheers, bro. Thank you. Sunshine's on with me now. Najee, yes, brother. Good to see you again. Look, 4 wins on the bounce, goals being scored. You personally must just be so happy with this, because it feels to me like everything you've been asking for. Be clinical, take your chances, win us games. We go home happy.
Absolutely. Literally. I mean, like me, Sarah said, regardless of what system, as long as the team are able to create, I'm happy. And then it's about converting and putting your chances away. I mean, this team is still fragile in areas where, even though we were 10 men, you can see the tempo dropped off a little bit, with Spurs getting a little bit of an edge in, and that's how we've lost most of our games, or dropped points most of our games this season, where we look like we're on top, and then there's a normal 5-10 minute period where we just slack off 2-3 yards, momentum goes, and then all of a sudden they end up scoring. And Simmons looked like he was capitalizing on a Luke Shaw mistake, and I was thinking, here we go again. Because we've seen this happen the whole season, but the difference is, minus those mistakes, we've got Lomans in goal, which is great, because obviously I think he had that one covered. But at the same time, you look at it and go, well, you're 1-0 up, you know that you can push forward and go and make it 2. We did put the ball in the back of the net a couple of times. Obviously, offside is offside, but that alone should tell you the mentality is there. And then when you go and get the second, and again, we'll come on to Seshko in a second, but when you go and get the second, you're able to then kill games. And that's the type of confidence that goals give you. When you're clinical, you build a confidence. And that's one thing a lot of the fan base missed out under Amorim, I believe, is where when these opportunities are glaringly obvious there, we had 60, I think it was around 60 chances, big chances, as in you should be putting that on target and in the back of the net, and we missed 40 of them. That clinical rate is not good enough. And what that does is, when you start missing those chances, you start to question and doubt what you're doing on the pitch. You second guess, start making more mistakes. And that's when it becomes a whole turmoil situation. The difference today is we've been a lot more clinical with the chances we've had, even if we were offside. And what it does is build a confidence that what you're doing is working. I believe that these players are capable with any system, any formation, they can make it work. They've shown me that under Ten Hag, they've shown under Amorim. I always go back to the Arsenal game because that was my favourite game this season. We created 22 chances against Arsenal first game of the season, just couldn't bag. We lost 1-0. But the reality is these players are able to do it when they focus and they switch on and apply themselves to whatever's being asked. It's whether they can put the ball in the net, and they did that great today. And you just saw the confidence ooze from it, especially when they're in possession. And like I said, I think I said to you on voice note a while back when we spoke about on WhatsApp, we spoke about me talking about why results are so much more important in your first 2 seasons, because it gives you that leeway, that confidence to work on the things that you want to do and do it with confidence. And that's why, I'm not saying style of play is not important and how you perform. We all saw that under Ten Hag. I mean, Ten Hag won 4 in a row last time. Do you know what I mean? He still didn't get a job. And that's with trophies. So we all get systems and styles can vary, and that we all appreciate, certain ones. But the main thing is, can you get this team get results? Can they maintain confidence? And if they can, then you've got a great foundation to build anything off. And I think that's what we're seeing under Carrick. And it's been really good to see, because I know a lot of people said about Arsenal and City, while it's the first, we step up for big games. And I know against City, we've seen Amorim, Ten Hag and Oli batter City with the same kind of system, hit the ball over the top or hit them on the counter. That's how you beat City. So that's not a knock against Carrick, but games like Fulham, games like today, Tottenham, those are where your bread and butter is, because you have to try and see something different. And can you play, if the team isn't sitting back too deep? And absolutely, we when they do sit back, and we saw that today, and we absolutely slapped Tottenham. And I think it was a great result. So hopefully we can get that 5 in a row. My man can get his trim, and we can move on from there.
No, I agree, mate. And I think that there's these elements where, even though I was a big detractor for the majority of this season, really, of Amorim, and said he had to go after giving him his time, I used to get a lot of shit from the Amorim outers, because they would say, you're not going in hard enough on him and you're blaming players still. Well, if you take the Šeško header at the end, I do agree with what Cam said, that if we were tight drawing at that point, I actually think he takes the touch, and I think he might actually have a bit more composure. I think the team was a little bit lackadaisical towards the end, because we knew we'd won the game. But that type of miss we were seeing it early in games, and we were lacking that clinical edge. And I wouldn't blame any manager. No manager is to blame for a miss of that level. And we were missing a lot of them. And so there was always this 50-50 nature. Now, of course, you've got this element of, if lots of players are out of position, if the system isn't great, if we're playing at home against 10 men like Everton, and we're not even we're not really attacking, that can take a bit of confidence away from the players as well. So I do think these things work in unison. But what's great to see is that our attack, we do, whether people like it or not, we have one of the best attacks in the league this season. Facts. Not just on the volume of goals, but the variety of goals, open play, counter attacks, set pieces. We're a triple threat in that regard, and that for me is great to see, because when you score goals, you've always got, and that's a cliched thing, but when you score, it's a bit of Michael Owen. When you're scoring goals, you've always got a great chance of winning games. The next thing for us to attack is improving the midfield and defense, so that we're more comfortable in the game and we're not as vulnerable at times. And that's the next phase. And a lot of that is through recruitment. As much as you can coach as much as you want, we know how good Pep is, but without the right players, these teams look vulnerable. All managers need better players. So what I don't want us to get sort of suckered into as a fan base is this sort of element of, we're winning now. This squad's a lot better than I thought it was. There's a lot of average players still in this team that we should want to improve on. And I think that element is really important for us as well.
No, absolutely agree. And, second to your point regarding, having that quality, any bit of quality helps. But I liken to Klopp's first season in Liverpool. He was outscoring teams. Yes, they were conceding 2 every now and then, but they go and win 4-2. And that is the precedent of that attacking, that heavy metal football, so we say. And Liverpool fans didn't care, because they were getting close to winning the league, or they were doing well in Champions League, or they won Champions League. You have to look at it in retrospect of stages. When you're going into a team, everyone knows results are the most important, because that's what keeps your job. That's what ultimately was looking bad for Amorim 24/7. That's the bat that he got hit with, regardless of whoever's opinion is right or wrong, or whatever they're focused on. The main thing is the results weren't happening, right? And so you can look at all the good things and then look at the small details, in which he spoke about and said we're losing it in small details, which I can understand and fully agree with. The reality is you weren't getting the results. And so you have to come to a stage where you go, right, can I just play to a level where I'm able to maintain results? Because sometimes, especially, and again, I say sometimes, it depends what club you're managing, but at Manchester United, as well as we'll give you a breathing space of 6, 7, 8 months to, show us something, you can show us that, but we need results along the way, regardless of how you get it.
Yeah. I think with Amorim, final part of say on it is that with him, there was an anomaly. So I'm someone that said for a while, if you're a good enough manager, you should be able to show us something properly very quickly, because most top managers do. The anomaly with Amorim was that it took him 6, 7, 8 months to get it working at Sporting. So there was this view that, I know we look bad the back end of last season, but that's how he looked at Sporting. So there was always this hope, and I hoped it would happen, is that we would also see the same improvement that Sporting Lisbon had going into his first full season, and it just didn't happen. And that's why, for me, when we got to sort of October, It just didn't make sense. But Sunshine, listen, great game for us. Great win for us. Always a pleasure, mate. We'll chat soon, my friend.
Yes, sir.
Cheers, mate. Take care, bro. Thank you. Thank you. This super chat here says that Bruno with 200 GA in 314 games is actually insane numbers, out of this world. The guy is in a league of his own and must stay in the summer. Yeah, I'd love him if we're going to keep him in the number 10. I said all year, if we were going to play him deep forever, sell him and buy someone better at that job. If he's playing in the 10, pay him whatever it takes to keep him and help build a better squad, because he deserves it, because the man is phenomenal. The man's phenomenal. Look, I want to thank you all so much for tuning in. We're going to be live again after Wolves versus Chelsea, which is 1-0 Chelsea right now, and Arsenal versus Sunderland. That's going to be in just over an hour or so's time. This is going to redirect you to Hassam's channel. So please go and support my brother over there, please. Until next time, everybody, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you soon. Peace.